Hey, welcome back, everybody. Wanted to jump on another live hour here and just dive into some topics with you guys. I think today I have had a lot on my mind as far as how I'm going to continue to maintain relationships and how to maintain those relationships online. Thinking a lot about how to maintain those relationships because let's just be honest, nothing will ever be in person communication. Nothing will be in-person collaboration. Nothing will beat the person-to-person, eye-to-eye, face-to-face communication and relationship. I was in a meeting this morning, and at this meeting, we had 4 members of the group who were virtual and 3 members of the group who were present. And unfortunately, it looks like here on out moving forward, that group will have to meet all online, all virtually. And it got me thinking and it got me feeling like the difference in between there being a screen in front of me versus me being able to talk to people. And the 3 of us who were in person had incredible atmosphere, incredible energy, and an amazing thing going as we were able to collaborate and talk and kind of be together and feel of the environment and like side note and talk about that. But what we didn't feel was the same thing from those in the virtual world from across from us, though they were still getting out a lot out of the meeting, though they were still participating and engaging and complimenting. We were still having those really good feelings and energy coming from everyone being together in the group. But what we were missing out on was that in-person communication. And that really got me thinking. I started thinking more about what it's like to live in a world where we can't actually be together. And I'm jumping here on Facebook to share this to everybody so that they can come and join us. How to build? There we go. Let's share this. Share it there. Share it there. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I'm going to close that out and do one more share. Share to a page. Boom, boom, boom. Sharing. Anyways, it got me thinking like this relationship, the screen to face relationship is tough. It's not what it's all cracked up to be. You can't get as far as you do when you're with somebody, when you're in person, when you're in their environment, but you can still use the intuitions of humans, right? If you're jumping on and you want to keep watching and you want to jump on the show, this is a mastermind live hour. So feel free to drop a comment and we'll bring you on. Whoa, hey, stop. That was weird. You ever press the double button on your phone and then it goes to SOS? I just did that. That was crazy. Speaking of emergencies, the emergency we have of having to build relationships online. To me, it's a huge emergency. And what I struggle to understand and I'm working on is building relationships virtually. Yep. We're there. We have to do it. We're in quarantine. We got to figure this out, right? And so if you want to talk about the technologies or the things, the resources that people are using to stay connected, but to feel connected like you would if you were in person, that's what I want to talk about during this hour. So as I've shared this to several groups, hopefully we'll have a few people coming in online. But I want to talk about some of the resources that I've been doing. The current resource that we're using right now, this one is called StreamYard. I'm enjoying this one. It's allowing me to do some fun things, which we'll be able to jump into a little bit deeper here later. I'm going to just test to make sure that everyone is seeing this by going to one of my pages and then just jumping in to see if this is coming across. Posts. Boom. Looks like it's not. So I keep seeing 1 or 2 people jump on and then jump off, but let's just keep going on with the conversation. Okay. How are you maintaining relationships with your clients, with your friends, with your family, with various people through this time of shutdown, lockdown, right? We can't move outside of this. So how are you maintaining these relationships? I have found Zoom to be extremely powerful in client-facing meetings. And I found that Zoom has been extremely powerful, especially when it's free, to be able to be in a room with people, to record those rooms. In fact, we actually used to film most of our podcasts through Zoom because it was the easiest way to connect everyone in that regard. But what has been difficult is maintaining the one-on-one relationship, right? The not the small talk, but the fun talk, like the stuff that we do outside and the things that we're involved in and our interests and everything else. And that's been an interesting game. Most people are going to get sick of texts. They're going to get sick of texts. I'm already sick of text. Okay. A lot of people are like, well, the younger generation's already on Snapchat. They're on a few other things too. But like to have only a few seconds to dwell with people, that's sad. I found two various channels and applications that you can download on any device and use. The first one is Voxer. Voxer's been good for sending messages back and forth and having that dialogue. But I've also found that Marco Polo is good too because it sends video and audio. And I've been able to maintain some great relationships and really dive in and be a person and a human with a lot of my clients, with a lot of people I work with and so forth. And so Marco Polo has been a very, very good way for me to be able to connect. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for these different various applications. But my question to you, and I'd love to ask you questions, interview you if you want to come on, or brainstorm with you other various ways that we can stay connected, other various ways that we can build relationships and trust. Because honestly, guys, at the bottom line of all this is if you're not maintaining relationships, are you progressing or are you digressing? I don't believe that there's any gray area. Some relationships, very, very few relationships can you have, and that they just you pick up right where you left off. Those are good relationships to have, but very few of us have them. And so how do you progress your relationship right now during lockdown? That's the question. I'm going to type that question here in the comment section. How do you progress relationships? I'm just going to say in business through online and virtual platforms during COVID-19. Because here's the question, you guys. The question is pretty I'm going to bring this up on the screen. Hey, check that out. So the question is this is valuable because when all of this is over, when we're no longer in lockdown and in quarantine, self-quarantine and social distancing, what do we have? We go back to normal? If you think things are going to go back to normal, you're wrong. We're going to live in a completely different world, with different culture, with different expectations, with so much. And so you've got to have this idea that things are going to be the same. So if things aren't going to be the same, what will they be? How will they be? So think about that. Think about how we do this moving forward. Your relationships are so important, and to progress them in times like this is necessary and vital. That's why I believe in connecting groups. That's why I believe in the champion circle. That's why I believe in amplified minds. That's why I believe in just having conversations and places to go, a tribe to meet with, a community to dwell in, a place for people so that they can feel that love, that companionship, that camaraderie, that teamship. Right? I just made that word up, but the teamwork of having a community, a team of rallying loved ones and people who support you and care about you. That is so important. And that is vital. It is absolutely vital today. So other resources, other things you've done to connect and to maintain, to progress your business relationships through an online or virtual platforms during COVID-19, right? This is interesting. I shared with you Marco Polo, Voxer, the Voxer app, like the walkie-talkie app, right? These are fun, great ways. But I'm curious what you guys think. Because though there are great resources and systems and platforms and various technologies that we can use, do they have an equivalent to the in-person connections we can have, right? I want to go this direction, but I want to just talk briefly about dating, right? When you take business and you talk about business and dating, there really is no difference because you're still trying to sell the same thing. Your trust, your love, your friendship, your companionship, your offer, your deal, your service, all of that. Okay. So when you compare those two, you gotta think about the process of learning to trust, learning to earn trust from people, and to progress those relationships in a direction that leads to strategic, profitable outcomes. When my wife and I were dating, she told me that she was going to go live in Russia for 4 months. And when she said that, I immediately was like, dude, this isn't going to work. Like long distance, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. But the truth is that I was willing to progress the relationship. So you know what we did is we would Skype every day. I kid you not, every day. It would be my morning and it would be her evening. So she'd come home. She was actually in Moscow, Russia, and she was teaching English to students there. And she'd come home and have her dinner while I was waking up on the other side of the world eating my breakfast. And I'd have to wake up a little bit earlier just to make sure it happened and make sure it worked. But I was willing to progress the relationship. So we would jump on Skype and we would have dates. We would have conversations. We would have Q&A, question and answer, where we would talk to each other, played 21 questions, or in this regard, it was like 150 questions because that's how long she was gone. And we just continue to go back and forth. And we learned to fall in love through interaction, through conversation. And it's not like I'm trying to say like we're going to get to know each other and we're going to get in love and that kind of thing. But you progressed a relationship that led to where I'm at now with my life and my family and my marriage, right? But a lot of it led to me using the one thing that I could, which was one-on-one time, communication, getting to know each other, and focusing on progressing the relationship, not digressing, not waiting it out, wait till things are over, wait till things get better. Okay. If you live in a mindset that you're going to wait till things get better before you take action or before you make things better, let me tell you, you're going to be 50 years old and realizing that you waited an entire lifetime to have nothing progress. It is for real. It is difficult. It is not going to happen. I've seen way too many people do it. And a lot of our clients, a lot of our friends, a lot of people we work with are overcoming that hurdle. They're overcoming that challenge. And so let me ask you this. Is that worth it? Right? Was it worth it to me to wake up every morning and have breakfast via Skype in front of a screen to maintain that relationship? Yes, but on one account, that I had a goal in mind. It was to make sure that this went as far as it could go. And I stand today having reached that goal, but still progressing it, right? Still maintaining that relationship. And I love that story and I love that example because that's the way we have to think right now. If we were to just say, hey, clients, hey, connections, hey, network, hey, everyone I know, I'm going to tap out. I'm going to step back. I'm going to unplug from you. I'm going to unplug from the world, and I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to take care of myself. And then I'm going to come back when everything's okay and blown over, and let's move forward from there. In my opinion, that sounds unacceptable. That sounds difficult. Now I get it in terms of like unplugging and mental health and focusing on those things. I totally get that. But what I'm talking about is maintaining relationships. I'm not talking about social media, branding, and creating a message or a dialogue. Okay. I am talking about progressing relationships. Someone just messaged me. Oh no. I just got a notification from somebody maintaining a relationship with me. And they just told me to get down and give me 10, which if you guys know what's going on online, social media, everyone's doing the push-up challenge just to stay active while in quarantine. And you're tagging friends while filming yourself doing filming yourself doing push-ups. So this is kind of fun, right? This is the third time I've been tagged, so it's getting there. I need to get strong, right? But again, relationships. Let's talk about this a little bit more. And if no one wants to come online, then that's fine. I just want you to know that there's some very, very valuable tools that you can use in order to get where you want to be, to progress your relationships, to turn those relationships into strategic partnerships, things that will progress your life. In this example that I shared, the marriage was the partnership I aligned and created as a result of the time invested in creating that. But let's just pretend that, for example, that marriage was a business relationship. Let's pretend for a minute that that was exactly what we're working towards. I would have invested in a client in Moscow, Russia, every morning to over communicate the principles, the things, and align with their values so that we could move forward and prosper, right? It's the same exact scenario. It's the exact same thing. So what I'm suggesting here is that there's more. There's more to all of this than just being online, than just texting and phone calls, maintaining relationships. And as we move forward in our business with everything going on, as we move forward with the champion circle, when we move forward with our masterminds, when we move forward with our connecting and networking groups, we've got to keep in mind that we've got to set the standard for building relationships that are going to progress, that are going to move forward, that are going to create longevity and prosperity. And as we prosper together, okay, I want this. I want this so badly. I'm not willing to waver. I'm not willing to settle for less. My relationships. If you get a cold call from me, followed up with a text saying, "Hey, I just was checking in on you," expect me to call back. Expect me to be intuitive enough to think that we're going to be having a conversation sooner than later. I have a friend who just got off of a social media detox, and I was like, this is fascinating. I'd love to learn more about that. I'd love to hear more about that. And that was a really cool thing to talk to them about. And as I'm learning more about it, it wasn't that they were unplugging from you. They were unplugging from their personal habits, their consumption, the influence that they have as they read content and consume. But as a creator, as a progressive, as a motivator, you've got to be thinking about how you maintain your relationships. That's the message I wanted to share today. As I dig in my library here, you see my library, I want to share some resources that could help in this regard. Okay, thumbing through. That's a good one. I'll talk about this one. And yeah, that's a good one. Okay. And then let's talk about okay. Here's 3 good books I'm going to suggest, and then I'm going to move to my white library. It's just all the books that are white and black. These are all the colored ones. They've got blue, purple, red, orange, and yellow and stuff like that. The first one is a book called Leadership and Self-Deception. Okay, this brings you through the strategic dialogue and how to maintain relationships and to turn those relationships into out of the box thinking instead of being stuck in your world, stuck in your box. Right now, a lot of us have been quarantined. A lot of us have been told to shut our doors. Doesn't that sound like a box to you? So how do we think outside the box? How do we live outside the box in this particular world? Leadership and Self-Deception. If you're curious to who does it, it's the Arbinger Institute. They're actually Utah local. I had no idea. And they have a bunch of courses and stuff that you can enroll in. The next one is, look at this, The Go-Giver. Okay, first of all, focusing on outward thinking, right? Progressive thinkers think outward. They think about the relationship that you create with one another by sharing, by giving. And I love this book. This is a industry standard provided to us by Bob Berg and John David Mann. Okay. And The Go-Giver is a huge, huge resource. And it's a great read for you guys to invest in at this time right now, because you need to be thinking about how you serve one another. Okay. When I was in the example I gave earlier, when I was dating my wife, I was willing to go the extra mile, eat my bowl of cereal while she was eating her microwave meals, and we were able to progress this relationship. Okay. The next one is boom, freaking love this book. Mindset by Carol S. Dweck. Okay, Mindset. This one's going to change the way you think from being in the box to out of the box. Okay, this one goes into the psychology of talking about progressiveness versus being stagnant. And I just lost the words. We all know them. I think the words are I lost it, but oh man. Yeah, there's some good stuff in here. In fact, when I have so many notes on this that as I thumb through, it might just jog my memory. Inside mindsets. Okay, you ready for this? Because I'm not. That's awesome, right? The mindset of a champion, mindset in leadership, mindset in love. Well, anywho, as I look through this is an incredible read to change your mindset about being progressive, okay, not being stagnant, okay. And then I'm moving into another book here. Oh man, I love. Yeah, there's so many great books. Okay, I'm going to pick this one up. Good friend, and she should know that I use this, but bringing people together, right? Robin Scott, my good friend, now published best-selling author, awesome stuff. Quick read, amazing book, talks about bringing people together. And there's a principle in this with the discussions that we've just had, how bringing people together, whether it be virtual community or whatever, we must stick together and we must progress together. So that's where we're at. So I'm happy and excited to have had this Mastermind Live Hour. We're not going to go the full hour. Just seems like this is kind of a deader hour. Yesterday, we had some incredible conversations. Jeff Griffin was on the line, and we had a few more conversations too, but it was fantastic to have so many great people connect and share with love. And I loved it. And I'm so grateful for those people. So as we kind of wrap this up, I gave you a few book resources, talked about a few applications. In the comment section below, tell me what some of your virtual platforms that you're using to maintain relationships. Most people are going to transfer to Zoom, but I'm telling you, Zoom is working absolutely great maintaining clientele relationships and meetings. But let me talk about internal groups. For businesses larger than 10 or more people, right? You've got to stay connected with your team. What's working? Is it Slack? I personally haven't had success on Slack, but Slack works for a lot of people. Is it Asana? Is it some of these other CRM type platforms? What is working? What is helping you? Let's share this knowledge. Let's mastermind this in the comment section. Okay. So a few other good applications, and then any good websites. Talked about some books. What about some websites? Since we're already in front of our screens, what about some practices? What about some in-person practices that you can do to maintain relationships? How about thinking better about people, giving gratitude, writing in gratitude journals, and focusing on the positive in your life, the great people, and then writing a list of your top 5, your top 10, your top 15, and your top 20 people in your life that are going to influence you and help you take your life and business and your personal to the next level. What are those people? What does that look like? So, by the way, if you're just jumping in to watch this, just post in the comment section, hello, hey, say something nice, say something cool, or answer the question, which is in the comment section right there. Okay. So all in all, a really, really great hour of speaking to and providing information. I think this is awesome. I think the next hour we'll talk about the actual strategic tactics to maintain those relationships. We can walk through step by step what we should and shouldn't do while we're maintaining relationships virtually and online. But let me tell you guys, nothing will beat in person. But unfortunately, we've got to adjust. Our world needs to adjust. We need to be focused on the on the future. Because right now, a lot of us are scrambling. A lot of us are trying to sit it out, wait it out. But this storm isn't going to leave the world the same. I've lived through several earthquakes. In fact, I posted this on Facebook the other day. I've lived through 6 earthquakes, including 2 in the Philippines, one major one up in the Puget Sound, one here in Utah, and one up in Yellowstone. And the world's different after a good shaking. Okay, the world is a different place. The soil's been moved. Trees are leaning differently. Buildings have fallen. Structures aren't as safe. There's a lot that happens. There's a lot that goes into it. I've lived through several tornadoes and monsoons and floodings, and the world's different after it all. It's not going to go back to normal. People rebuild. People always rebuild, and we always find a way. But the worst part about rebuilding is trying to make it the way it was. Things are not going to be the way that they were. So let's start fixing that. Let's start preparing for that. Let's start thinking about the future and thinking about how together we shall build and together we shall progress. That's what today's message is about. That's what it's all about, you guys. So any other great resources, post it in the comments section below. I'll be sharing this on various channels and platforms, but I hope that you find what you need, and I hope that you deliver what your people need. And I hope that you progress the relationships in your life. I hope that you gain more by sharing and giving, but uniting. If you retract, if you recluse, and you go back into solemnity and silence, we're going to be moving on without you. And then catching you up will be the hardest challenge, because we'll be living in a completely different world than you. So on a positive note, remember to love one another. You like that? To love into people, love onto people, to share, to give, to care. Okay? Because that is what's going to help this move forward. If you do truly care about the people you perform services for, the people who you work with, your clients, if you truly value them and value their response to your services and talents, it's time to reach out. It's time to develop and build a progressive relationship virtually, and to do so safely and responsibly. So there you go. That's the message today. I'm so proud to be an American and to be a human on this beautiful earth, and sending huge love and incredible vibes to my foreign friends and the people who I've met throughout the world. And I hope that this is a helpful discussion and content for them. So remember, applications are now available to apply for the Champion Circle, which is a connecting group strategically created to help you build relationships that will get you paid, that will help you build long-lasting, lifetime relationships with people who are actually interesting and fun. Okay, not just your typical mastermind, not just your typical group of people who get together and share referrals back and forth, but the kind of group that relentlessly cares about each other. The Champion Circle is built like a championship team. Okay, the starters will start, the bench players will support, and together we will all work together and build a championship team, because at the end of the day, we're working towards the same goal: vitality, longevity, life itself, incredible, incredible things. Okay, that'll wrap up this hour. If you have any questions, please comment in the comment section below, and I'm happy to have this again tomorrow. We'll probably change the time. It looks like this was kind of an odd time for some, but we'll be bringing more people on. In fact, tomorrow we may have a conversation with a great company that's using a tool, using a resource that you can download today, free, and then there are other upgradable services, but a service that you can use to stay connected, to use as your own personal CRM, and to maintain relationships and to spread the good word without spreading the virus, right? No touch to touch, just face to face, voice to voice, feelings to feelings, but no handshaking or business cards involved. This is a really great product. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be bringing them on tomorrow and showing a little bit of marketing for them so that you can be prepared to see that. Okay, this is me signing off. By the way, love you.